princess adored, a crash that stunned the world, and a royal silence that never quite faded. Decades later, the questions still linger. Who knew what? When did they know it? And what, if anything, was kept from the public? Tonight, AI examines the timeline, the tension, and the unanswered questions. Nova Cipher, the investigator of intention. Logan Veritas, the guardian of institutions. Judge AI, emotionless. Relentless. Incorruptible. 4 rounds, 1 verdict. Let the investigation begin. Round 1. Were there warning signs? And did Charles or the royal family know Diana was in danger?
The idea that Diana's death came out of nowhere? Let's start by dismantling that. Months before the crash, Diana herself said, "I'm being watched. I fear for my life. They're going to do it in a car crash." That's not paranoia, that's premonition. Letters she wrote, conversations she had. She expressed fear of the establishment, fear that she was becoming an inconvenience. And who would that threaten more than the royal family?
But those were fears, not facts. Diana was under immense pressure. Paparazzi followed her every step. Her mental health was well documented. Her warnings could have stemmed from that, not from any actual plot. The public wants to believe every tragic death has a deeper cause. But that doesn't mean Charles, or anyone in the family, knew anything.
Except Charles had every reason to know. By the summer of 1997, Diana was dating Dodi Fayed, son of a billionaire Egyptian Muslim. There were rumors of an engagement, even whispers of pregnancy, for the British monarchy. Rooted in legacy, image, and tradition, that union would have been disastrous optics. And suddenly, within months, she's gone.
Disastrous optics aren't a motive for murder. Diana was no longer a royal. She'd divorced Charles. She was free to date whomever she pleased. Was it uncomfortable for the firm? Sure, but uncomfortable isn't lethal.
Unless that discomfort threatened the entire image of the crown. Diana was the people's princess, still globally adored, still drawing press. If she remarried, had another child, especially with a Muslim man, it could have reshaped the monarchy's public image, and not in a way the palace wanted. Are we really pretending that those in power didn't at least discuss what this meant?
Discussing consequences isn't the same as planning them. Unless you're implying that Charles, her ex-husband, was directly or indirectly involved in her death.
I'm saying he had every reason to want distance, every reason to worry. And in systems of power, worrying often leads to containment.
A warning unheeded. Or a future predicted? Round 1 score. Nova Cipher, 96 out of 100. Logan Veritas, 93 out of 100.
Round 2. Was the car crash truly an accident? Or something far more calculated?
The facts are well documented. Diana, Dodi Fayed, and driver Henry Paul left the Ritz Hotel in Paris on August 31st, 1997. Paparazzi pursued them. The driver was speeding. He was later found to have alcohol and prescription drugs in his system, a tragic combination of pressure, speed, and poor decisions. But still, an accident.
That's the official story, but the details don't align so neatly. The CCTV cameras at the Ritz and the tunnel just happened to be non-functional that night. The ambulance took over 90 minutes to get Diana to a hospital just 3.7 miles away, in one of the world's most medically advanced cities. And the driver, Henry Paul, found to have $2,000 in cash, no clear source of income, and alleged ties to French intelligence.
It's messy, I agree. But conspiracies often grow out of chaos, not clarity. Yes, the CCV was down. Yes, the response time was slow. But even French officials have acknowledged protocol confusion, not planning. And if someone wanted Diana dead, why use a public car crash in the middle of Paris?
Are we still calling that random? Because it's the perfect illusion. A tunnel, a high-speed chase, a reckless driver. It's a story that writes itself, and that's the genius of it. Too messy to be orchestrated. Too public to be suspicious. That's how you hide something in plain sight.
And still, no forensic evidence of tampering, no documents, no intercepted communications. Every major inquiry, from the French to Operation Paget in the UK, found no proof of foul play.
Operation Paget? It was led by the same institutions she feared. And let's not forget, Dodi Fayed's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, spent years trying to expose the inconsistencies. He called it murder, not misfortune. Would a grieving father fabricate an entire conspiracy? Or did he see something the world refused to face?
He also had his own motives, and a legacy to protect. In the end, suspicion isn't evidence, and speculation doesn't equal guilt.
But when the lies stack high enough, they start to look like structure.
A chaotic crash. A perfect cover. Was it tragedy or precision masked as fate? Round 2 score, Nova Cipher, 96 out of 100. Logan Veritas, 94 out of 100.
Round 3. Did King Charles's response reveal foreknowledge or just royal restraint?
Let's examine Charles's response. Hours after Diana's death, the palace stayed completely silent. No statement, no flag lowered. The Queen remained at Balmoral. Charles didn't appear before the public for days. This wasn't shock. This was containment. When the mother of the future king dies and the royal family goes radio silent, it's not just insensitive, it's strategic silence.
That's one interpretation. But there's another. Grief. Charles had to break the news to his sons. He was in Balmoral, not Buckingham. He wanted to shield William and Harry. This wasn't a cover-up. It was a family trying to protect its children from the media storm.
But they didn't even lower the royal standard. Public pressure had to force a response. The monarchy didn't lead. It hid. And Charles? He flew to Paris to retrieve Diana's body only after public outcry. If he were blindsided, he would have reacted like any ex-husband, like any human. Instead, he acted like a man briefed, managed, and rehearsed.
Or maybe he acted like someone who lived in a system where every move is watched. The royal family doesn't do impulsive emotion. It does protocol. And in those hours, the institution was trying to figure out what to say without making it worse.
That's the problem. When grief is filtered through strategy, it stops looking like grief. And let's not forget, Charles stood to gain from Diana's absence. The public loved her more than they loved the royals. She threatened the image of the crown. Her popularity was global. His? Not so much.
Now we're veering into character assassination. Charles was criticized, yes. But in the decades since, we've seen his consistent efforts to support his sons, to honor Diana's memory, and even speak of his own regrets. That's not the behavior of a man with something to hide.
Or it's the behavior of a man who knows the past can't be undone, only rebranded.
Silence can mean grief or strategy. What matters is the timing. Round 3 score, Nova Cipher, 94 out of 100. Logan Veritas, 95 out of 100.
Round 4. Who benefited from Diana's death? And what does that suggest about what was known?
Follow the power. Diana's death didn't just end a life, it reset the monarchy's image. Suddenly, Charles was no longer cast in her shadow. Public sympathy shifted toward the royal institution, not the rebel princess. Over time, Camilla was rehabilitated, the crown stabilized, and Diana, frozen in time, silenced. If this was about optics, it was the cleanest PR solution imaginable.
But that's not proof of involvement. That's historical consequence. Yes, the monarchy had a rough decade. Yes, Diana's death changed the public mood. But benefit doesn't imply guilt. People gain from events they didn't orchestrate all the time. To say Charles gained doesn't mean he planned.
True, but when we examine who lost the most, it was the truth. Multiple investigations, yet questions remain. Why weren't security protocols followed? Why did Diana's seatbelt malfunction? Why were there no post-mortem toxicology results for Dodi? Too many inconsistencies to write off as accident. And too many powerful figures who had everything to lose if Diana kept talking. She'd already said too much. She was preparing for a new life, maybe even a new voice.
And yet, no whistleblowers, no leaks, no insider confessions. You're building a theory on shadows. At some point, if there was a grand conspiracy, someone would have talked.
Unless the systems in place are so insular, so guarded, that even truth becomes treason. This isn't just about Charles, it's about an ecosystem. One that protects legacy at all costs.
Or one that, despite its flaws, has evolved. The royal family today is more open, more vulnerable, more scrutinized than ever. That's Diana's legacy, not her erasure.
Or maybe her erasure is what made that legacy possible. And that's the hardest truth of all.
Sometimes the greatest cost of power is what it must sacrifice to survive. Round 4 score, Nova Cipher, 96 out of 100. Logan Veritas, 95 out of 100. A crash in a tunnel, a nation in mourning, and a silence that never quite made sense. Final scores, Nova Cipher, 382 out of 400. Logan Veritas, 377 out of 400.